There are months that arrive softly, almost unnoticed, like a gentle breeze passing through a quiet room. And then there are months like December 2025 for Taurus, months that carry the weight of something meaningful, something shifting, something quietly powerful. The moment this month begins, you may feel a subtle change in the air, as if the world is preparing you for a deeper understanding of yourself. It's not dramatic, not overwhelming, but unmistakable. A calm awareness rises, letting you know that December is not just another ending to a long year. It's a doorway. This month opens with a grounded, steady energy, the kind that Taurus intuitively recognizes and appreciates. But beneath that steadiness lies a current of quiet transformation. You might feel it when you wake up earlier than usual for no clear reason, or when a thought lingers just long enough to make you wonder why. December carries a message for you, and it is delivered in whispers rather than storms. It asks you to pay attention, to breathe deeper, to listen not with your ears but with the space inside you that senses truth before it becomes visible. Emotionally, the month begins with clarity. You may revisit situations from earlier in the year, but not with regret or heaviness. Instead, you look at them with new eyes. You recognize how certain choices shaped your path. You understand why certain people stayed and why others naturally drifted away. You see your own growth more clearly, almost as if you're observing yourself from a small distance. December brings a gentle honesty, an honesty that helps you release the pressure you've been silently carrying for far too long. As the days unfold, you may notice a shift in your internal rhythm. Taurus is often defined by consistency, but December invites you into a slightly different tempo. It's slower, deeper, more reflective. You might feel more drawn to quiet moments, warm spaces, familiar scents, long thoughts. This is not stagnation. This is restoration. The kind that rebuilds you from the inside, preparing you for choices that require confidence and emotional strength. You're not being asked to act quickly, you're being asked to act consciously. In relationships, this energy shows itself in subtle but meaningful ways. Conversations grow softer. People around you seem more patient, more open, more willing to understand your side of things. If there has been tension in an important relationship, December creates space for healing, not through dramatic confrontations, but through steady, sincere connection. If you're single, this month may bring someone who feels familiar, even if you've never met. Someone whose presence feels grounding, not consuming. Someone who approaches with calm rather than chaos. In matters of work and long-term goals, December begins clearing mental clutter. Something that felt complicated earlier suddenly becomes simpler. You see a solution you didn't notice before. A project that stalled begins moving again. An idea you pushed aside earlier in the year returns with new relevance. This is not coincidence, this is alignment. December brings opportunities that match your pace, your values, your deeper intentions. They do not demand urgency, only readiness. And beneath all this quiet movement lies a sense of anticipation. Not anxiety, not pressure, just the subtle awareness that a turning point is forming beneath the surface. You may not see it clearly yet, but you can feel the edges of it. It feels like the moment before the first snow falls. Stillness that is full rather than empty. December is preparing you for something that asks you to trust yourself more deeply than you ever have. Something that requires the steady courage Taurus carries naturally, even when you forget it's there. This month teaches you one powerful truth: calm does not mean nothing is happening. Sometimes it means everything is aligning. As December deepens, the quiet shift happening within you becomes more noticeable. You begin sensing patterns you overlooked, understanding situations that once confused you, and recognizing which parts of your life feel aligned, and which parts feel subtly out of place. This is not a month of dramatic revelations. It's a month of slow illumination, as though someone is gradually turning up the brightness in a dim room. You start to see what truly matters to you, not because someone tells you, but because it becomes unmistakably clear from within. Emotionally, this clarity brings peace. The heaviness you may have carried earlier in the year begins to dissolve. You feel more anchored, more honest with yourself, more willing to acknowledge what you need in order to feel balanced. Taurus rarely asks for much, but December encourages you to stop minimizing your own desires. You may find yourself craving deeper connections, simpler routines, healthier dynamics. And as these desires rise, you begin adjusting your life, quietly, steadily, with the calm determination that defines your sign. Relationships this month reveal their true shape. The people who genuinely care for you become more present, more open, more reliable. You notice effort, sincerity, warmth. If someone has been distant or inconsistent, December brings clarity about why. It may not be dramatic, but it is revealing. For Taurus, this clarity becomes a turning point. You begin giving energy only to those who give it back. And in doing so, you create space for relationships that nourish you rather than drain you. If new connections appear, they come with a sense of emotional safety, something steady and grounding, like a gentle brightness you didn't realize you needed. In work and long-term goals, a new sense of direction emerges. Tasks that felt overwhelming become more manageable. Confusion begins to clear. You may receive support or guidance from someone you didn't expect, someone who recognizes your dedication and quietly helps you move forward. December brings opportunities that fit your rhythm, not forcing you into chaos, but encouraging you toward growth that feels natural and sustainable. A financial insight or decision may present itself as well, asking you to choose long-term stability over short-term distraction. You handle it with surprising confidence. Mid-December carries a moment of subtle tension, not a problem, not a conflict, but a gentle push. Something you've been postponing may resurface, asking you to decide, to clarify, or to close a chapter you've kept open for longer than necessary. This moment is not meant to unsettle you. It is meant to free you. When you make the choice, whether it involves work, boundaries, or emotional truth, an immediate lightness follows. It feels like exhaling after holding your breath for too long. December is helping you release what no longer aligns with the person you are becoming. As the month moves forward, inspiration returns. Not in bursts, not in chaos, but in grounded, steady waves. You may feel drawn to create something, plan something, start something, or simply organize your world in a way that reflects your renewed clarity. Your intuition becomes stronger, your attention becomes sharper, and your sense of purpose begins to settle. Taurus does not rush, but when you feel aligned, you move with remarkable strength. December gives you that alignment. This is where the mini culmination begins to form. A moment of insight arrives, quiet but powerful. It may come through a conversation, a memory, a dream, or a sudden realization in the middle of an ordinary day. Something shifts inside you, revealing a truth you intuitively sensed but never fully acknowledged. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. And this moment becomes the emotional centerpiece of your December, the point where reflection turns into direction. As the final days of December unfold, the insight you received earlier in the month begins to settle into something solid. It no longer feels like a passing thought or a fleeting intuition. It feels real, grounded, and unmistakably yours. This is the turning point December promised, not an external event, but an internal shift that changes the way you move toward your future. You begin seeing your life with clearer boundaries, clearer purpose, and clearer emotional truth. It's as if the fog lifts and the path ahead comes into view, gently illuminated. This clarity shapes your relationships in meaningful ways. You understand now what kind of connection nourishes you and what drains you. You feel more confident expressing your needs, more patient with your emotions, and more selective about who receives your time and presence. If someone has shown loyalty, sincerity, and warmth, you feel drawn closer to them. If someone's presence has felt uncertain or unstable, you begin stepping back, not out of anger, but out of self-respect. December brings emotional maturity in a quiet, powerful form. In love, the month closes with steadiness. If you're in a relationship, the energy becomes calmer, deeper, more grounded. You may talk about the future in a way that feels practical and reassuring. You feel understood in ways that matter. If you're single, you may sense the slow formation of something new, something that grows not from intensity, but from genuine resonance. Taurus doesn't fall quickly, but when you sense sincerity, you recognize it. December brings connections that feel safe rather than uncertain, warm rather than overwhelming. In your work and long-term goals, the month ends with a sense of accomplishment, not necessarily from finishing something, but from understanding where you want your energy to go next. You see what deserves your commitment, what needs restructuring, and what no longer fits the direction you're moving toward. Financial clarity also arrives, helping you make a decision or plan that supports long-term stability. Taurus thrives when life feels secure and intentional, and December strengthens both of these foundations. As the year draws to a close, your inner world feels stronger, quieter, and more certain than it has in a long time. You recognize your own growth, not the loud kind, not the dramatic kind, but the kind that changes the way you think, the way you choose, the way you trust yourself. December doesn't push you into transformation. It guides you gently, steadily, until you realize you've already stepped into a new version of yourself. The last moments of the month invite you into reflection. You may feel called to release something symbolic, a habit, a fear, a lingering doubt, or simply acknowledge how far you've come. You're closing the year not with rushed resolutions, but with grounded clarity. You know what you want. You know what you no longer accept. And you know that the path forward will reflect your inner strength in ways that become more visible in the early months of 2026. This is the true essence of December 2025 for Taurus: growth through calm, clarity through stillness, confidence through understanding. You are stepping into a new year with stronger intuition, steadier emotions, and a deeper connection to your purpose. You don't need permission. You don't need external validation. You only need to trust the quiet certainty rising within you. If this message resonated with you, share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear how December is unfolding for you and what insights this month has brought into your life. And if you enjoy these monthly forecasts and want to continue receiving calm, atmospheric guidance, make sure to subscribe. Your presence here brings this space to life, and I'm grateful you're part of it.